Hello, everybody, and welcome to Starting Small Music. I'm Justin McCormick, and you're about to hear a conversation with an artist, musician, and music industry professional on their journey and how they got to where they are today. At Starting Small, we like to take you on a journey uncovering the untold stories of your favorite songs and artists. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Just keep a smile on your face and it'll be okay. Try not to be bitter, you gotta do it either way. Keep a smile on your face and it'll be okay. So when life throws a jab, you gotta duck out of the way.
How you doing today, Lance?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, getting right into your story, where did you grow up and what was your childhood like?
So I grew up in northern Kentucky, about 20 minutes south of Cincinnati, Ohio. Only child, and didn't grow up in a musical family, so music really wasn't like a huge aspect of my childhood. I mean, I'd say the most experience I had with music was just kind of going to church with my family and stuff as a kid, and seeing the musicians, on stage on Sunday, kind of playing. But other than that, we didn't really go to a lot of concerts or anything like that. And my parents weren't really musicians. And yeah, just kind of like really rural town. No other like kids on my street or anything. So I was just kind of like only child thing. So I kind of gravitated towards things like skateboarding, things I could do on my own. So it wasn't really until I was probably a teenager that I got into playing music and stuff like that. But yeah, as far as the childhood goes, it's pretty real simple, just small town vibes.
For sure. Now, who were some of the bands or albums you listened to growing up as a kid that kind of made you gravitate towards music?
So again, like as a kid, wasn't really exposed to a lot of music. Like my parents, they were big Elvis fans, so I was definitely familiar with that kind of sound, which was more of like the Southern gospel. I think my parents kind of gravitated towards that. So Southern gospel was definitely a sound that I was familiar with. Wasn't really my thing like as a kid. The instrumentation and kind of the production and stuff. I wasn't really attracted to that so much, but that was what I was exposed to. And then I think it was probably a little bit again more like in my teenage years. I started hearing artists like Nickel Creek or like John Mayer and these kind of artists that at that time were more acoustic driven, and that really appealed to me, and kind of sparked the interest in maybe playing guitar, and it just seemed approachable because the acoustic guitar, when you pick it up in the music shop, it sounds a lot like it does on the record. You don't need a lot of effects or anything like that. You can just kind of start strumming on it. It's like, okay, yeah, this is similar to what I hear on their album, and it
Yeah.
kind of sparked that interest for me.
Now, what age was it that you picked up the guitar then?
So I was right around like 15 years old. I had a buddy that played guitar, and I think just seeing him do it kind of gave me, the confidence that maybe I could do it. And he kind of showed me my first couple chords on the guitar, and then yeah, just kind of stuck with it. And then I got a couple of my friends into playing guitar and bass and stuff as well. And then what naturally happens after that is we all start a band and we start kind of just thumbing through some songs, trying some songwriting, mainly more like in the rock style.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, mainly acoustic driven, but eventually evolved into getting an electric guitar and kind of playing around with some of those textures and playing really loud and taking some years off my ears, just with the amp cranked up and stuff. But yeah, around 15, and then probably started playing together with my friends in like a band setting around 17. So after a couple years.
Do you remember the name of your guys' band at that time?
Yeah, so the rock band was called Adalia, and we were just doing some real like post rock kind of sounding stuff. A lot of more instrumental, not a lot of vocals. No one was really identifiable as like a singer, like in our friend group. So we gravitated more towards like the explosions in the sky, kind of
Yes.
sounds where if you guys are familiar with like the Friday Night Lights soundtrack, some more stuff like that, but
Mhm.
definitely not up to that level. We were just kids thumbing around on it.
Now, did you have to drive up to Cincinnati to find gigs, or did your small town have like some like little venues you guys could get into?
Yeah, so the town that I grew up in, there were like a couple like honky tonks, and that was about it. So unless you're playing, traditional country music, those like venues or bars in the town really wouldn't be interested in having live music unless it was going to be traditional country. And at that time, that wasn't what we were pursuing. So we did play some venues in Cincinnati, like Bogarts, that were traditionally like rock venues and things like that. So I think having that larger urban environment kind of helped us explore different genres, and ultimately with the universities, kind of being in Cincinnati and in Northern Kentucky, I got exposed to like jazz musicians and things like that. So as I continued my musical journey, I got more interested in other styles like blues and jazz and things like that as well.
For sure. Now, coming out of high school, did you already know that you wanted to do music professionally, or did you go to college for something else?
Yeah, so I think, coming out of high school, music was a big passion of mine, but I didn't really have a vision for like a career path. So my parents, they were really excited for me to go to college. I was the first person in my family to go to college. So there was like a big deal for them to kind of say, hey, we'd like you to go to college, regardless of what you want to study. We just think that given our life experience, education would have helped. So they were really just kind of big on me going. So I just kind of jumped right into college, doing just general education requirements. I didn't really have a major picked out. I didn't really consider doing music as a major at that time.
Mhm.
So I just kind of took some gen eds, and I really liked my psychology class that I took, like the 100 level psych class. It was in a big lecture hall. I was like, man, this is cool, and I like people, so maybe learning about how people think and stuff, that would be fun. So I
Yeah.
just declared a major in psychology, and not really with a specific job in mind, just because I liked the coursework that I was studying at the time. Yeah, and all along, my college, kind of career, I still was playing music and becoming more and more interested in blues and jazz and things like that. So about my junior year of college is when I really kind of focused in and thought, man, I would really like to pursue music full time, rather than continue pursuing maybe like a master's or a doctorate degree in psychology. So I told my parents, I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to change my major to music. And they kind of, were reluctant at that at the time because they really didn't know what it would look like to make money as a musician.